Hello. How many of you were with me this morning on the MOOC talk and your brain is a bit dead now from that morning talk? The gentleman way back up there. Right, I got a brain for you, so let's see if I get it back up. Almost. Over the top. Let me try it again. Okay. Close enough. All right. This talk will be about extreme learning, what I'm calling stretching the edges from blended learning, tinkering with our classes, to tottering or transforming our classes to totally extreme learning. We're going to stretch the edges a bit in this talk, okay? We're going to stretch you a bit, your minds a bit, I hope. And so you can find my notes at trainingshare.com. This whole talk is posted, and my papers at Publication Share. You should believe in the power of sharing today. It's possible for anyone today to learn anything from anyone else at any time. So we're going to stretch you out. We'll go through three types of technology integrations. But first, I have a little poll for you. How many of you have had your life changed with technology? Raise your hands. Your life has changed with technology. Look at that. Might not have been the case a decade or two ago. My life changed with technology. I was a board accountant and CPA in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Correspondence and TV courses in the 1980s changed my life. I was able to escape because of distance education, not online learning, but distance education. And think of the millions of people today whose lives are changing in Africa and South America and here in Europe and around the world.
But what if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today.
What if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today. I was a board accountant. I needed some energy. I needed some rejuvenation. So at night, I was reading from people like Elliot Soloway and Roger Schenck and Seymour Papert and other people. Back in the mid-'80s, they were talking about artificial intelligence and how things would change the world. It didn't quite happen that fast. But I was reading constantly about what was possible. Now, Elliot's my friend. We travel around doing different talks about this new mobile world, this new virtual world, new collaborative world that we're in. People like Charles Wiedemeyer at Wisconsin had some ideas about open education. But the people in Wisconsin didn't endorse them, so he had to come to the UK and create the Open U of the UK, or help create the Open U in the UK. Charles Wiedemeyer has a book about learning at the back door, and that anyone can be learning from resources at the back door, non-traditional learners. This is the best book you can buy for $1 used on Amazon. Every sentence is quotable. It's all about lifelong learning. It's all about adult learning. It's about learning with technologies, whether it be radio or television or correspondence or computers or the web. Today, we don't just learn through the back door. We learn through the front door, the side doors of MIT and Stanford and Oxford and Cambridge. They've all put their stuff up on the web in the Open U here in the UK. See, I had a score on our entrance exams, a 19 on the ACT. We won't talk about my score, but today it wouldn't matter because today I can learn from anyone on the web. I couldn't even get into Lower Potomac State University, which doesn't even exist with those scores. Fast forward 25 years later, what's happening around the world with technologies, not just correspondence and TV courses, but today we've got, how many of you have an iPad? iPhone, right? Technologies are delivering new forms of education to all of us today. We've got robots in Korea teaching English. My son is Korean, his friends are all going back to Korea to teach English no more. They're getting robots to teach English in Korean, soon other languages all around the world. We've got bendable text. We'll be reading off of cars and buses and buildings. We'll be reading full-length novels on our mobile devices because we'll have bendable text from Samsung and LG and other places, new forms of delivery. Google Glass, recording every event of your life, an ethnographic case study of every person out there can record who you interact with. And if you forget someone's name, their name will pop up in your lensware. New forms of delivering education to us. We have iPad potties for your young kids. New forms of delivering education just announced a week or two ago. How many of you got one of these iPad potties or would hope to be sitting on one soon? I don't know. We also know that learning is being flipped. The Khan Academy and other places have made this evident. We're having students watch lectures ahead of time, access open educational resources before they come to our classes, and we have problem solving wrapped around it, problem finding, decision making, evaluating ideas, analysis. On Monday night, I was in Manchester talking to my students. We have a student there who's from Cyprus on the left, someone from Shanghai on the right. I'm in a Manchester Midland hotel in Google Hangouts with them. We're flipping the classroom. They watched my lecture from a year ago and just asked me questions. I had others coming from Beijing and others coming from the US in that flipped classroom. Google Hangouts limitation is 9 people, but it's still fabulous to try. Google On Air, you can have multiple people, more than 9. Learning's become more social, whether you're at Dubai Men's College here, Dubai Women's, you're in King Khalid University. Students are now talking to one another about what they access on their iPads and on their iPhones and on their laptops. That was not the case in the mid-'80s when I had personal computers by myself. We rarely shared with other people. Learning's becoming more open. When we have yak herders in Tibet accessing MIT contents and Yale contents on the web to get excited about college degrees, and kids in Afghanistan accessing MIT contents, and all around the world, in fact. I'm currently studying and researched over 1,500 people accessing MIT contents. We're finding out what motivates them to access and use and so forth. February 18th, 2012, it should say, not 2002. We've got talking dictionaries from National Geographic, saving languages of the world, making these languages available from the last living person who can speak the language. You can hear how your voice sounds in comparison to them. Learning's become really open when we've got degrees online. We got Shaquille O'Neal, former star of our basketball association, getting his EDD from the middle of Orlando online from Berry College, and his master's from the University of Phoenix. We've got Oprah Winfrey teaching a class to 2 million people, 700,000 simultaneous downloads of content. In 1995, I used See You, See Me and PictureTel and combined 2 video conferencing systems together. And my president of my university said, "Don't do it, Waterboy, don't do it. You'll bring down the internet. You've got 15 people in the class." Today, Oprah Winfrey has 2 million, and people just yawn at all this, right? It's become common today. I'm smiling because that is a common event. There's a lot of positive things happening today. Some surveys I've been doing shows that retention rates are going up. I'm currently working on a book on motivation and retention online that I'll make free to the world. Send me an email request, I'll send you chapters. So I'm happy, I'm smiling. How many of you are happy and smiling because of the state of things today? Okay, some of you are happy and smiling. The people in the back row are just sitting back there, so there's a smiley ball for you, and the people over here, okay, great. Now, some of you didn't smile, some of you did smile, but I have some chocolates for some of you to pass around to make you all smile. So we've got some things there, and some things there, and some things there. Okay, great. So I'm smiling, my dog's smiling because a dog can get a degree online today. You don't know if there's a kangaroo on the other end, my Aussie friends say to me. My cats are happy too. My cats are happy because we got content wrapped around us all the time. We got social networking, we got podcasts, wikis, and blogs to personalize our learning. And so I'm going to now walk us through a bit of a couple frameworks that I'm dealing with today to try and help make sense of the web. Because my friends in Korea think the world's become open at Iwa Women's. My friends in the Philippines, at the Open U of the Philippines, say the world's become open. My friends in Saudi and in Dubai and in Norway, even the military thinks the world's become open. And so if I could get everyone to hold their hands up in the air, I'll take a couple snapshots. Everyone hold their hands up in the air. We'll get this side of the room first. Great. We'll get this side of the room here. And this part of the room. Great, thank you very much. The world's become open for all of us to learn today, but not everybody. My friend Aaron Schwartz, who's in my World is Open book, committed suicide 2 weeks ago because the federal government in the US wanted to put him in jail for 35 years for downloading 1 million academic term paper or journal articles. The US government doesn't want to arrest terrorists and put them in jail. They want to arrest academics who download academic papers. It's kind of a weird situation. In my World is Open book, I map out 10 trends that have changed the world that spell the acronym we all learn, from e-books to mobile learning to virtual worlds to collaborative technologies. I'm not going to walk through all 10 trends here today, but I want to point out that if only one of these trends had happened, the world would be changed in education. There'd be a revolution. The fact is we have 10 trends simultaneously happening that are causing all this conference and others to happen around the world. Little audience participation. The men will say "we" with me, the women will say "all," and together we'll say "learn." So on the count of 3, men, 1, 2, 3, we, all, learn. Very trainable group. Okay. We've got 3 parts that I'm going to walk you through in terms of trends today. Remember I said that we're stretching the edges of learning. We're tinkering, we're tottering, we're moving to totally extreme learning. I'm going to move us from blended learning to transforming our classes to stretching us way out. Tinkering. How many of you do blended learning? In 2006, I have a handbook of blended that came out. It's 6 years old, but I'm happy to send chapters if anyone's interested. You can blend with timelines. You can blend with concept maps. Here we have Martin Luther King's life on a timeline that came out a couple weeks ago to celebrate his holiday, his anniversary. Simple things, timeline tools. We can add oral histories to have a timeline tool with people talking about slavery in the United States. Simple things, tinker with your classes with oral histories, with podcasts, with blogging, with wikis. Online art, if you teach in the art world or design world. We've got the Google Art Project where you can index your favorite art exhibits and share them with other people. You want peer-reviewed encyclopedias. You want to go to the British Library, turn in the pages, and have contents that the British Library is scanned in, or go to the United Nations Digital Library. There are portals on the web today for people to access that are peer-reviewed, not just Wikipedia anymore. We've got video from YouTube, we got video from TED, but today we've got TED Ed, where people chop up TED Talks into educational sequences with questions mapped around them, open-ended and closed questions, and so forth. We've got scientists who put up their entire life, like my friend Brian Ford from Cambridge, who's put up 40 years of his life as a biologist on the web. Brian's got a book coming out on the future of meat, a book on the intelligence of a single cell. He was the head of Mensa here in the UK. Brian's put up all his life as a BBC TV and radio personality on the web for people who want to tinker with their classes. Tottering, having others come into the class, experts from around the world, people coming in from Antarctica or from Africa or wherever around the world to your class to enhance things. In the bottom left, we've got the CELIA project. In CELIA, kids in the US work with kids in the Middle East to try and understand each other's cultures better. Global classrooms on the web today. Question and answer on the web today. Crowdsourcing answers like the Piazza project. And a MOOC, in a massive open online class at Stanford, they have students crowdsource office hour questions with each other, not just the instructor. Piazza is a free tool. Lessons on iPads to flip your classroom. Put lessons up. Students can take them at home or when they're sick or when we have snow days. I guess you had some snow days here as well. You know what I mean. Students putting up their work as a knowledge-building, collaborative activity in Poplet or concept mapping tools like CMAP and FreeMind, working together to put their knowledge representations on the web. In effect, students taking control of content, students generating content, students sharing content, students discussing content. It's not just being delivered or tweaked or blended from the instructor. My students using Google Hangouts to chat about my class. There's Omida from Uzbekistan talking to my class. We've got students putting up videos on the web, making their own videos. Here we've got history for music lovers, parodies of songs that explain the Trojan War or the French Revolution or King Henry VIII. Fascinating website. If you haven't seen history for music lovers, fascinating. Finally, we're entering a jumping off point today. We're entering a jumping off point today to extreme learning. Could I get everyone to stand up with me? Okay, all the men on the count of 3 are going to jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. All the women, 1, 2, 3, jump. And everyone together, 1, 2, 3, jump. You can have a seat. We're moving to learning in planes, trains, boats, mountaintops, and I'm trying to track adventure learning, kids learning from people in the Arctic, people learning from people in the rainforest, adventure learning, people learning on the ice, iPods in their ears, learning from MIT open content because there's no university close by, learning in war zones, getting MBAs. The world's youngest teacher, Adora Swivtak, is 15. She's been teaching online since she was 6. She teaches teachers how to teach writing. She's ready to retire at age 15. She's been teaching more than half of her life. We got people 80 to 100 years old getting degrees online today. People learning languages, mentoring online. Kids in South Africa who don't have teachers because of HIV/AIDS are now getting mentored by folks around the world. At Stanford, they have the Pocket School project where your teacher's in your pocket for literacy training when you need it. You've got kids learning languages online, dozens of them, as polyglots. So I've designed a website called the Extreme Learning website to document what's going on. I've got a project called the Hopes and Dreams Project. Humanity's open platform for the exchange of stories is the hope. We want to collect stories of life change due to MIT contents and other things. We're hoping that people share their stories of adventure learning, video-based learning, online language learning. We're going to collect these hope stories of people whose lives have changed, just like your lives have changed. It's not just about test scores. It's not just about retention rates, although it's important. What's important is life change. The government's too focused on test scores. We need to document success stories and inspire others to learn online. So the Dreams becomes design-based research for an active and engaging mobile system. We're doing survey research, focus-based research, and document analysis. So who's stretched now a bit from this talk? Hopefully you've become stretched in thinking about the possibilities for learning today online that wasn't possible in 1985 when I jumped out of accounting and into the field of educational psychology. A lot has changed, a lot remains the same. The purpose is to change lives. The purpose is to offer opportunities. Today, the opportunities are endless. I hope you agree with me. Thank you all for coming today, and I'll hang around to the end and talk to some of you. Thank you very much.